Mike the Vegas guy here, bringing you yet another buffet review, and today I am finally making it over to the Excalibur Buffet. Now that the Luxor Buffet next door is closed, I'm finally getting over here to try and see how it compares. This buffet is only open for brunch, but they are open every day of the week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm showing you the prices and the breakdown here. Now in this video I am reviewing the weekday brunch, which after taxes came to about $35. Now I'm going to be honest, I've heard great things about the weekend brunch that they charge a bit more for. I'm going to tell you right up front, I was not so impressed with the weekday brunch that I experienced here on a Monday afternoon. Showing you, they have a lot of cereal, breakfast items. Of course they had French onion soup stuck in the middle here next to the oatmeal and the make-your-own yogurt parfaits. This was one of a few odd choices that I found here. I assume that was just the only place they were able to put soup. You know, I always start with a salad. They had a pretty decent salad bar here. Pretty standard, you know, small selection of toppings, but it is more than Caesar's Palace has over at the Bacchanal. They don't want you to make your own salad there. They have everything pre-made. Forgive me, I wasn't as good this trip doing glamour shots of my plates after I finished them. That was all you're going to see of my salad. But they had some pre-made things here. They had potato salad. They also had a little pre-made Caesar salad at the end there. So you get a little bit of the best of everything. This is their small seafood section. That was called seafood or crab salad, but it had pasta in it. So it was a pasta salad with imitation crab meat. Very strange. They had peel and eat shrimp and mussels. I tried the mussels, very good. You know, I don't like having to peel my own shrimp cocktail. That's the sign of a lesser buffet, in my opinion. Next up, a whole row of carbs. They had some pasta, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, pizza, large pizza bar. The pizza was very popular. You know, I do stay away from carbs, so I didn't sample all of these items, unfortunately, but it looked pretty good. They also had baked potatoes and, surprise, a green vegetable. Who'd have suspected that? Right next to more potatoes. Those were like some breakfast potatoes there, sliced with onions and peppers in them. Looked very good. I took a small bite of that. Here's your standard breakfast fare. The bacon, your typical buffet, scrambled eggs, and sausage. And further down the road, we've got biscuits and gravy, and pancakes with syrup. No waffles here. This was the extent of the breakfast breads. I know it's a moot point, but Luxor always had waffles and French toast in addition to their breakfast offerings. But, you know, maybe they have that here on the weekends. I don't know. Of course, plenty of fresh fruit. The fresh fruit looked very good. It is a brunch buffet after all, and they do a pretty decent, I would call it a standard job at putting out a brunch there. I stopped here at the carving station. There was this sausage that they cut for you, and they were calling steamship. There was a small chunk of a beef steamship that they had on the carving station. The sausage was fantastic. I got to tell you that right up front. That was spicy, probably the best thing I had the whole day. The slice of beef there, you can look at it. It looks kind of pretty gray, doesn't it? It tasted gray as well. It was pretty a little overdone for my taste. Moving on, we have a pretty decent Asian section, standard fare. We've got fried rice and stir-fry vegetables and things like that. It was kind of a mess. You see it here, it felt like a value buffet. I've got to be honest. I've heard good things about it. Maybe on the weekends they step it up a little, but this felt like a buffet that prior to the pandemic would have cost no more than like $20 a person. Of course, with inflation, post-pandemic, they are only charging about $33. It was $35 after tax. I guess that's all you can expect in a value buffet here. But this Mexican section, I mean, come on, you've got the yellow plastic nacho cheese and tortilla chips to make your own nachos. As far as like taco ingredients, they just had ground beef. They didn't have any kind of pulled pork or pulled beef or anything. They did have sushi over here at the end of the Asian section. which at least is one step in the right direction as opposed to other buffets that have their sushi in the seafood section. There was no seafood in any of the sushi you're seeing here. This is old-fashioned buffet sushi with, I think maybe there was some imitation crab meat, which I guess technically counts as seafood. But most of those are just California rolls and pretty bland sushi in my opinion. And they had some kimchi edamame there, which is pretty nice. Also wanted to show you, you do have to get your own beverages yourself here. Some people prefer that. I like to at least be served in some way, shape, or form. They had, you know, coffee, milk, everything you could want there. This I found interesting. I wanted to show you. Bubbly, sparkling water dispenser. I do enjoy sparkling water on, you know, I do no sugar, so it was nice to see that. That's something new that you could get that, although it's, you know, heavy branding, of course. Here, of course, is their dessert section, a slow-mo tour of their very large island near the front there with all different desserts, although it seemed pretty obvious they were taking up a lot of space with just multiple slices of the same cakes and pies. Although I stay away from sugar, this was clearly the best part of the buffet. It seemed like really quality items. I've seen a lot of dessert sections with a lot of stuff that comes from like a centralized bakery, and it all looks the same at a lot of buffets. This one looked pretty unique. They looked like some pretty good slices of pie and cake here. And coming up around the corner is something I used to, in the good old days, I would judge any buffet by its bread pudding and soft serve ice cream. And on that they have a special standalone little hot plate here of bread pudding, and there is serve yourself soft serve, although I have to complain a little bit. They had these two strange flavors, mango and coconut. I guess coconut isn't that strange, but they have this Hawaiian Frost brand instead of having just regular vanilla, chocolate, and swirl soft serve, which kind of the whole planet expects chocolate and vanilla at a soft serve station. Maybe strawberry if you're going to be very wild there. But so glad to see the bread pudding. A little disappointed by the soft serve, but look at everything else. Really good dessert section. You know, if you are hungover in Vegas and you're going to a brunch buffet and you would rather just have nothing but dessert for your entire meal, I would say this dessert section is worth the entire price of admission. But otherwise, the rest of the buffet, it's not the best in town, in my opinion. I would walk across the street to the MGM Grand and go to their brunch, similarly priced, and I thought the food was far superior, in my opinion. You can check out that review on my channel. Tell me in the comments which buffet you'd like to see me review next. Thank you for hitting the like button and for subscribing. Until next time, I'm Mike the Vegas Guy.